This is my first time in New York City. I want to be happy here. I want to make a life, a home.
Are you ready?
Tonight is about family.
Tony, we need you if we're going to war.
West Side Story is such a specific snapshot of a time in New York City. What do you think keeps the story relevant throughout the years?
I think that what keeps it relevant throughout the years is what has kept Romeo and Juliet in everybody's kind of DNA throughout the centuries, is that it is the classic Romeo and Juliet reimagining, which is what Jerome Robbins had intended to do when he collected the massive talents of Leonard Bernstein and Arthur Lawrence and then the young 24-year-old Stephen Sondheim. And so it is based on very classical material, obviously. But also it's about the human condition. It's about love and hate. And so it's about large swatches of colors that have created, even to this day, a division in this country, as much as the Jets and the Sharks are divided. There's no racism in Romeo and Juliet, but there was in the original production of West Side Story. It was basically the fourth generation white immigrants versus the newly arrived migrants from Puerto Rico. And it was not so much about territory; it was about color. And even though our characters try to, decry that inside the text of our film, that's what it's really about. So that's what keeps it relevant.
Well, at the heart of it, I think it's love. Really, is everybody wants to experience love and have that love be returned. And when it's in the midst of chaos and difficulty and hatred, this is an age-old classic theme that we all want to see love prevail. And when you couch it in this very, very topical idea of communities trying to come together and being forced to recognize, the chasm that is in between by virtue of bigotry and misunderstanding, this is a very topical thing. And sadly, it's as relevant now as it was when this was written in 1957.
How did you prepare for such a demanding role?
The first thing I tried to do was just to look at it from a physical perspective and then work on the internal. I just wanted to look like a fighter at first, so I started taking boxing classes and just training myself physically to look the part. And then I think the harder part was internally, what did I want to do with this character? And for that, I just focused on what it's like to migrate to a new place and learn a new language and try to adapt to a new lifestyle. What does that feel like? And I resonated with that because my parents immigrated from Cuba with nothing. They had to start from complete scratch. And I remember seeing them struggle, and I remember how hard it was for them. So I had so much to take in for this role that it really helped me flesh out Bernardo into what I wanted it to be.
We were very fortunate. We had, I think 4 months of rehearsal time before we actually started rolling on it. Yeah, it was similar, there's definitely the physicality aspect to it.
I worked with the most incredible vocal coach known to man, Joan Lader, who has an honorary Tony Award. She's everything to me. And I truly adore her so much. And singing this role every day, and we did a lot of live singing, it's incredibly demanding, take after take after take after take. And it's something I don't think I ever imagined myself doing. So to be able to be conditioned by someone who conditions the greatest of the greats was really such an honor, and also just the biggest help I could have received. And Joan actually trained our Bernardo, David Alvarez, when he was 13 years old playing Billy Elliot on Broadway, which he won the Tony for. And so it was all very familial and very wonderful. And it was really, for the most part, my voice that felt the most daunting about this shoot. Everything else I felt very aptly prepared for by Steven, by Tony, and by everybody involved. But there was a lot of work that went into keeping the accuracy of the original Bernstein score, but also the words that Stephen Sondheim had so brilliantly written at 24, and making sure that we kept them alive, revitalized them. And a lot of that has to do with Joan, who helped me with my voice, and Janine Tesori, who helped us adapt it.
And, I didn't bring Broadway to Hollywood to tell the story. I brought myself to Broadway and surrounded myself with, number one, arguably one of the greatest Broadway musicals ever conceived. Yeah. And then Tony Kushner, the Pulitzer Prize winning, Tony-winning Broadway playwright. And Paul Tazewell, who did the costumes, for Hamilton. And then certainly Justin Peck, associate director of the New York City Ballet Company, Janine Tesori. I mean, I basically threw myself on the mercy of the Broadway court and said, please help me tell the story. And they did.
Yeah.
What do you hope audiences experience when they watch this film?
I hope they experience a catharsis of some kind. I hope it's differently personal to each different person who has the experience of watching our film. I hope it reminds people that tragedy can be averted if we learn how to listen, and then we learn how to speak. If we can put on hearing ears, and if we can calm our emotions to be able to let the words come out, we could avert tragedy through conversation and through some kind of a modicum of patience. And I think that is the feeling I get whenever I see a story like this, or like Romeo and Juliet. And I hope that's some of the feelings that people take away from this film, but they'll take away what they take away. That's the great thing about movies. It's highly vulnerable to interpretation.
Yes. Yes.
What are you hoping audiences experience when they watch this film?
I hope that they feel like they've seen a story that is moving, and right behind that, I hope that that people can see, if they've never seen a musical, if they've never seen a musical film or on stage, that they understand how dance and music, that kind of storytelling, can really elevate things to the heights that you've never experienced before. It's the reason why I fell in love with what I do.
Thank you so much, both of you, and thank you for all those Spanish lines that just really broke my heart for this Spanish-speaking Mexican living in New York City.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you for saying that.